Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to start a new What If for my 1000 sub special. This is going to be What If Deku had a Miraculous from Miraculous Ladybug. So, for those who don't know what a Miraculous is, it is an item that holds a lot of power. Those items have a Kwami, which is a spirit that is the pure embodiment of the power they give to the user. They can use it if they want, but they normally don't because first, it takes a lot out of them, and second, compared to the user itself when they fuse together, the Kwami has a huge amount of power and has a little control over it, depending on the situation. Example. When Chat Noir in Miraculous Ladybug actually uses his power, which is called Cataclysm, he can only break one item, and it's hard to, depending the size, it can take more time than others. His Kwami, named Plague, at one point used it while not mixed in as Chat Noir, and even though he only touched the Eiffel Tower, the entirety of Paris was being destroyed. Basically huge earthquakes and massive disasters. So a Kwami is many times more powerful. That's why they share the power with someone else. So I'm going to start the what ifs. And yeah, so in this what if, Deku will be born quirkless. And he will have the same life as in the original. The difference is actually in the world itself this time. The world has Miraculouses, which not a lot of people know about them. In fact, not even in history it is shown a lot. Compared to the My Hero Academia world normally, there has been heroes before Quirk's beard. Those have been Miraculous users, and basically there's only a few people who actually know that Miraculous existed. And still exist. But basically, most people think it was like, specific people who gained Quirk way before the mass mutation, and that they weren't able to pass down those powers to their kids directly, but that many other people gained similar power to them, thinking that they were all part of the same family, without thinking that another thing could be involved, since after a while quirks started appearing, so instead of thinking of it as magic, they just thought, it was ancient quirks that basically only appeared once in a while for specific people, but weren't passed down directly. So, Deku will not get one for all. No, wrong. Deku will get a Miraculous and one for all. So, 1 year before the Sludge Villain attack. Everything else before that is exactly the same, but 1 year before the Sludge Villain attack, Deku finds a box Um, when he opened it, there were 23 smaller bugs inside of it. Deku just decided that he's going to bring it home and see what's in them while he's there. So he left the park. When he got home, he decided to open one of the small boxes and found a ring. He decided to grab it, and when he grabbed it, a light started emanating from the ring. And it took the form of a small black cat. He presented himself as Plague, a Kwami. The first reaction of Deku was to no. Yeah. Deku asked what he was, even if Plague just told him. Plague asked him who he was, and Deku presented himself before starting as Izuku Midoriya, before he asked if he is the quirk of someone, or if his quirk is what gave him the appearance. Plague tells him that his power doesn't come from a quirk, but from magic. Deku had even more question after that. Plague explained all he could, but that was basically just I'm a spirit, and other stuff like that from what Deku was asking, since most of the question he was asking was quirk related. Asking like, is it that someone created you using a quirk and you call it magic, or stuff like that. So after that, he asked Deku if he was the new guardian. Deku asked him what that was, to which Plague explained that the guardian is the one that keeps the Miraculous Is before they are given to a user. He also explained about the other Miraculous Is, which I'm going to do later. I think at the end of it, there's a lot of... I explains it for practically all of them. So, Deku decided to ask if he could become a hero using them. Plague tells him that yes, he can, but there are rules that could make it hard. Like, when you are not an adult, Deku asks, that could make it hard when you are not an adult. Deku asks what they are, so Plague tells him. The rules are simple. When you use a Miraculous to transform, you need to have the Miraculous on you and the Kwami that goes with it close enough for it to be absorbed by the accessory. Once you use your superpower, you will have 5 minutes to finish the fight before you detransform. By force. Since adults don't actually have a time limit and can actually use their power almost infinitely until they themselves are exhausted and are forced to detransform by their own will. After you detransform, you have to feed your Kwami food so that they gain back the energy, as it is what allows them to transfer their powers. Once you are an adult, most of the downsides are gone and you won't have to detransform. Lastly, a single person cannot use too many at once. Their body and mind can be damaged if they are not careful. Once Blake finished explaining, he asked Deku what other Miraculous he had. Deku opened the rest of the boxes to find what other Miraculous he had in his possession. After looking at all of them, he decided to grab one to add uh, to his. Also, like I said, at the end I'm going to explain all of the different Miraculouses. So yeah, Plague asked him what he was doing and said that he will say that his quirk manifested. We'll say that the two Kwamis were in the forest and that he found he has the power to absorb them and temporarily gain their power. He also take two so that even if he uses the power of one of them, he can feed them, uh, so he can still transform. Sorry about that. For some reason, my script is a bit messed up right now. But yeah, so in the end, he has the ring of Ouroboros. No, the ring and the Ouroboros bracelet, which I will once again explain at the end. The next day at school, he arrives with them at school, and people ask what they are, to which Deku tell them the lie and ask Blade and Sass to present themselves. Everyone except Bakugo, for obvious reason, finds it cool and tell him that this must be why he was counted as quirkless, as he didn't have them to use his quirk. Over the next year, Deku gets used to the two and shows his quirks to people when they train their quirks. After a while, almost everyone knew, so he wasn't asked about it. He also told the lie to his mom, and she was mostly just happy for him. Now for the day of the sludge villain attack. That day, Deku wasn't bullied even by Bakugo, since he started to accept Deku as someone who could be a hero. As for everyone, when he used Sass, Deku was just unbeatable. When he left and passed by the tunnel, Plague told Deku to transform when he saw the sludge villain coming out of nowhere. Deku had time to do it, and he was able to transform when he saw the sludge. When he was able to get out of the way before the sludge villain told him his quirk was nice, so he was going to steal his body. Deku just kept jumping out of the way, and since his staff wasn't working on the enemy, he couldn't do much until All Might arrived and blew the sludge villain away. When he saw Deku in hero costume, he asked Deku if he was a new hero, which Deku just said Plague claws in to they transform before looking at All Might and going full fanboy mode. All Might understood that he wasn't a hero and that it was his quirk. So he asked him what his quirk was, as well as telling him he did a good job with the villain. Deku told him that his quirk was called Animal Hero. All Might was impressed and asked him if he could be a good successor. So he asked Deku how it works, before realizing that he was out of time, and transforming in front of Deku. Deku was surprised, but instead of asking if he was really All Might, he asked if he was okay. All Might was taken aback by the question. Normally people would react differently. He decided to go to a more private place with Deku in the sludge-related bottle and explained the problem he has. Deku was sad, and in his mind he was asking himself if he should give him a Miraculous, as one of the power was that as long as you are transformed, any defect or things that are similar are cured or fixed. So it could be useful. Like if you need glasses, once you transform, you don't need them anymore. your eyes are fixed. If you have hearing problems, your ears are fine, and even better than normal ears. If you have problems that are kind of physical, like if you're missing an arm, it's not going to grow back. But if it's like, oh yeah, my bone is broken, it will temporarily be fixed by the magic until you de-transform, which is going to be back to broken. So yeah, that's why he's thinking. Where was I? All Might would be able to use his full power, and he would have a Miraculous with him, no time limit, since he's an adult. Before Deku could ask him if he would like to be fixed, All Might asked him a question. If someone gave you a powerful quirk that would allow you to be the number one, would you take it? For yourself, or give it to someone who needs it? Deku looked at All Might and said that he was about to ask a similar question. All Might was intrigued and asked what he meant. Plague and Sass asked Deku what he had in mind, and Deku then looked at All Might and told him he lied about his quirk. Plague asked him if he was sure. All Might was puzzled and asked what he meant. Deku asked him if he could come by his house after sending the sludge villain to the police. All Might accepted, and when they arrived there, Deku told him that to come in. Inko asked Deku who the man was, and Deku said he was someone he knew and wanted to show him something. Inko was suspicious and asked Deku if everything was okay. Deku said that he was just showing a friend something. Inko let All Might in, but was still a bit unsure. When All Might got in Deku's room, he saw all of the posters and other things about him and laughed a bit. Deku grabbed something from under his bed. It was a safe. In it, there was all of the small boxes for the Miraculous, and then he... Sorry about that. He then explained to All Might about them. Wait, no. In it were all of the small bugs for the other Miraculous. He then explained to All Might about them. The Kwamis, and that if he took one to use, he could be healed while it was activated. All Might thought long and hard about it, and told him that he wasn't going to take one. Deku was a bit surprised, and All Might then told him that the question he asked was going to be because he wanted to give his quirk to Deku. He also said that he decided to do it but that he should hold on to the Miraculouses to give to the others, who would need it more. Deku was happy because he was going to get a real quirk. Then he realized that All Might said and asked what it was about. All Might explained Ofa to Deku, and without knowing to Inko, who had just arrived at the door, she heard All Might laugh really hard. Wait a second. She heard about Ofa, but not the Miraculouses. She barged in the room and asked what that was about, and All Might understood his mistake instantly. He then explained it once again to Inko. In the end, she understood that All Might needed to pass the quirk to someone else, and had decided that her son was going to have it. He then explained that he was going to need to train Deku for the quirk first, or he could get hurt. So, yeah, in the next part, well, this is the end. So, in the next part, it will be the 10 months of training before I go. I still have one thing to say. It's about the Miraculous Is. I, well, the Miraculouses are not going to be powered up by Ofa. Deku will be a lot stronger because of Ofa and be able to use it at the same time as the Miraculouses. But it's basically just like, oh yeah, he has the Miraculous, the strength of the Miraculous, and then he adds on top of that Ofa. So, for everyone else, he will say that after so long with using his quirk, he might have absorbed part of the Kwamis, and now he's able to, and now he can use the power to increase his power without them being fused with him. So, now, the Miraculouses and the power. I'm just going to say the item, the animal, and the power. So, the ring. The animal is the cat, the power of destruction. The earring. The animal is the ladybug, the power of creation. There is a. I always forget how you say that in English. En français, c'est branche, brush. Um, basically, Hawkmoth if you saw the series. Instead of having like, well, you place it on your shirt basically. It's the power of the butterfly. Well, the animal is the butterfly and the power is transmission. So basically, think of it as long as you have butterflies near you, you can basically transfer your power to it and then create a power within that butterfly, send it to someone to power himself up with a new power. So basically think of it as, let's say, Bakugo. He has explosion, but let's say Deku sees that Bakugo is struggling. He would be able to create a new power that would or complement the power he already has, or turn him into something else that is more powerful. The power of transmission can give someone normal powers like controlling elements, creating stuff, transformation, or it can turn them into monsters that have themselves powers. The power is used mostly when, sorry about that. The butterfly basically needs to touch an object on the person that is going to be transformed, and if that object is broken afterward, the butterfly escapes it. That detransforms the person, taking the power that were given to them away. And yeah. Next one is the bracelet. The power of the turtle. Well, the animal is the turtle, and the power is protection. Basically, it makes a shield that is extremely strong. A lot less information, well, a lot less to explain compared to the butterfly. The necklace with the animal, the fox. So, the power of this one is illusion. Basically, you can take uh, the weapon that this one has when transformed is a flute. What is it called in English? Yeah, I think it's a flute. No. I don't remember. But basically, with it, if you blow into it, you can make illusions. As long as you can imagine it, you can make it. It isn't real, so if someone tries to touch it, it disappears. But still pretty useful. Next one is the hair comb. The animal is the bee. The power is subjugation. Basically, what happened is that you can send a bee that has the capacity to sting someone and it completely immobilizes them. Like, as long as it can sting them somewhere that is with their circulation, it completely immobilizes them. Nothing they can do can break it, and that's basically it. Next is another brooch, something like that is written. The animal is the peacock, the power of emotion. This one is about the same power as the power of the butterfly, except that instead of transforming someone and giving them powers, it takes the emotions they have, as well as the reason for those emotions, and transforms it into a monster. Pretty powerful. Next is a pendant or a necklace. Pretty sure I'm going to go with necklace, like the other one. The animal is the mouse. The power is multiplication. Basically, you can shrink in size as well as multiply and do almost as many copies as you want of yourself. Pretty sure there's a limit, but yeah. While like that, each different clone are still connected, but they can think separately. While using the power of multiplication, you can still use the other Miraculouses by fusing them. Except that compared to the others, each clone can actually fuse with another Miraculouses themselves. So, since each Miraculous has the specific power to transform someone, as well as all of the other powers that come with it, but they can also fuse together. Only two of them, from what I know, can be mixed together. So like, let's say you take the peacock and the turtle, you can mix them together. You will have both powers, but be a lot more powerful as well. The powers can be mixed afterward, so like, yeah, I don't know what would happen with that one, but still, basically you can use both powers, or if they have the capacity to mix, the powers can also fuse together. But yeah, with the mouse Miraculous, each clone that you make could actually take another Miraculous and use it to make, well, to fuse with it. And each copy of you could take a single one, and all of them could be activated at the same time. It would take a massive amount of effort and a huge toll on your body, but it would still be possible. Next is a nose ring. The animal is the ox. The power is unknown. Next is a banja bracelet. The animal is a tiger. Power is unknown. The next is pocket watch, and the animal is the rabbit. The power for this one is called evolution. Basically, it allows you to make portals that allow you to go through time. Any place, anytime, you can basically go there. So, yeah. Pretty much OP as hell if you're an adult because you don't have to wait. Well, you don't have to wait 5 minutes or detransform, then feed your Kwami and then retransform again before using it more and more. The next one is a choker. The animal is a dragon. The power is called Perfection. This power is basically control over the element of fire, lightning, and water. You can you can create, control, or transform into each of those elements, but it's basically like the others. You have 5 minutes to use it, after that you untransform, so you have to be quick. Sorry about that. The next one is the Ouroboros bracelet. The animal is the snake. Power Intuition. Now I'm going to explain to you why once Deku used that power, he was basically untouchable. Because intuition isn't something like, oh, you see the future. It's more that once you activate the power, you basically have the capacity to go back in time. Once you activate it, you have 5 minutes, and anywhere in those 5 minutes until you transform, as long as you're still transformed, you can basically turn back time and go back to the moment you activated the power. Meaning that basically you can go for a fight thousands of times until you find the answer. It's as easy as that. Which makes it almost impossible to beat. Unless you're able to get it off of the person who uses it before they're able to turn back time. So yeah, next one are glasses. The animal is the horse. The power is teleportation. Basically, you open portals that can transport you to places that you're able to see. Well, not see like with your eyes, but as long as you know where you want to go, you can open a portal there. Easy. Next one is the hair clip. The animal is the goat. The power is unknown. Next is the circlet. Don't remember what that is. But it's the animal is the monkey. The power is jubilation. Easiest way to say it is that you create an object that if it enters into contact with the power of someone else or the body of someone who has a power, you basically mess the hell out of the power and make it crazy. Like, if the person has the power to, let's say, create material or stuff, if you use the object you create from your power and touch that, all of the other things that were created by that power will automatically turn completely crazy. They can or disappear or transform into something else, or basically there's nothing that couldn't be done. All it can do is just break the way the power works and make it useless. Next, sorry about that. Next item is the thumb ring. The animal is the rooster. Power is unknown. Next is a collar necklace. Animal, the dog. Power unknown. Next one, pearl anklet. Animal, the pig, unknown. Next is simply called a Miraculous. It is the animal Thunderbird, power unknown. Next, Talon Pendant. Animal, eagle. Power, freedom. Basically, you can create feathers that if they are able to touch someone, it will release the true personality they have. So their true ideals, well, no. Basically, if they made a promise or that they have something they decided to never do, you can break that promise and let them do it. And basically, they will do the hell out of it. So let's say someone is afraid of heights. You can free them from that. And once you free them, they are not afraid of height anymore. If someone was afraid of their powers, it would do the same thing. They wouldn't be afraid of it anymore and they would use it. If someone promised himself to, let's say, protect the peace but never go too far, you could break that and they could or go and be totally crazy and break any rules, do any crimes or stuff like that, or they could go crazy wanting to make people obey the law. So like, oh, you threw something on the ground, I'm going to attack you because it's illegal. Basically, to that amount. Next is a ring. The animal is the lion, and the power is unknown. So yeah, a pendant bracelet for a tiger, and now a ring for a lion. But yeah, next animal is an earring, and it's the fish. Power unknown. So with that, it is every different miraculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. Yeah, 23. So basically, Deku has all of them in his possession. Those are all of the ones we know from the series Miraculous Ladybug. So, yeah. So, with all of that, I'm going to have to go. Basically, since it's been a while that I haven't spoken for a while, my throat literally is killing me right now. So, hope you liked it. Leave a like if you did. If you have any questions or anything to say, leave them in the comment section. I'm going to leave a link to my Discord in the description, so come and join us if you want to. Not to.